Hey everyone, this is Mike from the Comic Book Trove, here today with another Omnibus review, and today I'm going to be taking a look at a very exciting one for me and for many others I'm sure. It's the newly released, long-awaited Fantastic Four Omnibus Volume 4. Now, as I said, this has been one that's been quite a while coming. You know, the first printing of Volume 3, that came out back in 2015, so it's been 6 years for fans and collectors like myself that we've had to wait to finally get a hold of this book and to have the pleasure of owning it, adding it to our collections and reading through it. And I can't wait to jump in. So I wanted to take the opportunity here today, as this has just arrived, to showcase it, as I like to do with so many books, and just give an overview, a look through the book, discussion of some of the plot points and the key points really relating to the material. And yeah, so let's just take a look. First thing I really obviously want to highlight, as it's right here, is this absolutely stunning, beautiful, phenomenal, insert your favorite adjective here, Arthur Adams variant cover. So yeah, this is absolutely beautiful stuff. I just was taken by this as soon as I saw it. As soon as I knew this was going to be one of the cover choices, I had to get this one. And don't get me wrong, the direct market cover, which is Jack Kirby's classic cover to issue 100, is also really great. And I wouldn't blame anybody for going for that option, of course. But this is just so stunning. I think it's an excellent homage to that cover to issue 100. Arthur Adams, he pulled no punches here with his drawing of this work. So many characters crammed in there. Just give a slightly closer look at it, just to show it off. You've got all the creator names there at the bottom, of course, but just so much stuff crammed into this cover here. Yeah, stunning. Could look at it all day, to be honest, but we've got to keep things moving. The spine, showcase that. It's the new small spine design. By now, I think we're all pretty accustomed to that. Creator names at the bottom: Lee, Kirby, Buscema, Romita, Goodwin. And then the book itself, you got Fantastic Four on the front. It's the classic kind of plain design, really. The hardcover itself doesn't have too much to talk about. There is a 4 on the back. Lately it seems that the current thing Marvel do for these books is they put a logo on the back, so you get a 4 on Fantastic Four, Captain America gets a shield, Spider-Man gets a Spidey face logo, etc. And then you get the little cover image now, not a cover image, but a little image on the spine, on the dust jacket, on the book itself. If you have the direct market cover, the image is a little bit different on that spine, it's something else. But yeah, so we dive right in. Almost forgot the contents of the book. You get your cover gallery on the back, the dust jacket, the classic Marvel thing. And then in here, written very small there along the bottom, but it's Fantastic Four 94 to 125, and Fantastic Four The Lost Adventure, which was an unfinished Lee Kirby issue, which ended up being finished off and finally published long after this stuff had been originally released, I think in the 2000s, but it's included in the back of this book as a kind of bonus story. So very, very cool inclusion. So we get to the the creators. So obviously you've got Stan Lee, Jack Kirby. What we finally have now, thanks to this book, is we've got the rest of Lee and Kirby's collaboration finally in omnibus format. So we now have the entire Lee Kirby run. That goes up to 102. So as of issue 103, Jack Kirby leaves the book. He left Marvel back in 1970. He would, of course, go over to DC at that time, which left, this series kind of in a position where, for the first time, somebody else had to come in and draw it. And the first guy to come in and do that was the great John Romita, who is an artist that I'm a big fan of, but he wouldn't stick around for too long, only did a few issues before the next, I suppose you could say, regular artist came in, which was also the great Big John Buscema. Classic artists. If you're going to lose Jack Kirby from a title, can't really think of many artists off the top of my head that are better replacements than both John Romita and John Buscema. Both excellent artists. And then you get your contents page here, showing, as you'd expect, the list of issues. You get your original dates that they were published. There's a nice intro here by Stan Lee where he talked about his final issues with Jack. And then you jump in. So Straight away, issue 94, you get the moment in the opening scene where Franklin Richards is finally named. So he had been born a few issues prior to this, but in his first few issues he was an unnamed baby. Finally they came up with the name Franklin Benjamin Richards, and you get this really nice little scene straight away where Ben is kind of overcome by the fact that they've named their son after him. It's a sweet moment. And then also, same issue, you get the first appearance of Agatha Harkness, who, I guess, spoiler alert, has been prominent and important recently within a certain MCU title. I'll say no more, but yeah, cool to see her first appearance in here. And really, you know, as I said throughout my reviews of Volume 2 and Volume 3, which I've recently done, and of course you can go back and watch those on the channel if you're interested, but it's just the whole style of this era, you know, the Lee Kirby run with Joe Sinnott inking it. Beautiful artwork. Kirby at his best. Joe Sinnott, fantastic inker. Always got the best out of Kirby's pencils. For me, nobody ever inked Kirby's work better than Sinnott. So it's just a joy to look through, really. These final few issues of Kirby's run. Still, Kirby using the splash pages quite frequently, as he had done frequently up until this point. During this time as well, Crystal of the Inhumans was still a member of the Fantastic Four. She was still adventuring with them and in a relationship with Johnny Storm. But that would be undone as well. She would end up leaving the team during the issues collected here. And it's just really great to have this book, honestly. You know, it's such a big deal. As I say, 6 years between Volume 3 being released and this book coming out. Yeah, so it's been a long-awaited one. It's one of those books that kind of in disbelief, really, to finally have it. So that now we finally have 4 fantastic volumes of Fantastic Four. So there you go. What better reason to get this book than to be able to say that? One thing that I always thought was a little bit sad, though, and this is not unique to this specific situation, but when Jack Kirby left this book, given his incredible contribution to its success in all the years up to this point, and everything that he'd given Marvel in general, I think it's sad that at the end of issue 102, which was his final issue, really, there's no kind of fanfare whatsoever. You know, there's not even a little kind of message at the end of the book, in the page itself or in the letters. No mention of the fact that Jack Kirby was leaving. No kind of fond farewell for him. No thank you for all the, you know, the work he did. And I think that's kind of a shame, you know. So just as if to prove this point, this is the end of issue 102. And it just ends, you know, just don't miss next issue, you know, like there's no change. Now, maybe in fairness, at the time this was put together, maybe they weren't sure yet. I don't know the exact timings, of course, but maybe it wasn't entirely known that Kirby was leaving just at that point. But even so, by the next issue, 103, for the first time ever in a Fantastic Four comic where you're seeing Stan Lee and somebody other than Jack Kirby, there's, again, nothing here to kind of say, you know, wishing Jolly Jack all the best or anything like that you might expect or that you would like to see. And I guess it's a minor point, but I think when any creator has had a long run on a series, regardless of the circumstances under which he or she leaves, should say, I think you should make a mention of it, give a little honourable mention to that person and a thanks for the work that they did. But maybe that's just me, I don't know. But anyway, we move on into the next era of Fantastic Four. Really cool to see, though, to be honest, people other than Kirby penciling it now. Obviously, that by no means is a dig at Jack Kirby, not criticism towards him in any way. But after 102 issues, it is interesting to see other artists and their take on the series and these characters. Interesting to see here how John Romita draws it. For me, John Romita is just forever associated most strongly with Amazing Spider-Man, so I'm very used to seeing his artwork on that series, as a big fan of that era of Spidey. So it's a little bit interesting to see him drawing, other stuff when you come across it and see his take on these characters. So Kirby, of course, one of the most unique art styles of any artist to ever work in comics, so naturally, as soon as somebody else is drawing it, it's going to look very different. And I think these Romita issues do look really nice. But, for me, artistically, this book is just, fantastic, I suppose, because I'm a big fan of Jack Kirby, I'm a big fan of John Romita and John Buscema, so to get all of them working on the run during this time and to have a big book collecting all of their artwork, you can't go wrong in my opinion. Just really nice stuff. And then also these are the final issues of Stan Lee's run as writer as well. So after Jack Kirby left, Stan Lee continued as writer. He didn't write every issue in here. There are a few issues written by Archie Goodwin, but for the most part, it is all Stan Lee, right up until issue 125, which is the final issue collected in here, and was the final issue of Stan's run as well. I think of all the things that Stan Lee had written through the Silver Age, Fantastic Four was just about the one he wrote for the longest. So I think quite clear that he had a great love for the series. As did Jack Kirby, of course. And you get into the point here with all this now, John Buscema artwork. And inking again, mostly by Joe Sinnott. So he continued inking on the series after Kirby left. Through here you're getting a lot of the classic villains really as well in terms of the stories themselves. So it's really that, by this point, just moving into the Bronze Age of Fantastic Four. Very much the back end of the Silver Age, very early Bronze Age era collected in here. Yeah, the return of Crystal in this story. Of course, she left the Fantastic Four. She was written out of it because it was revealed that, it was just an excuse to get rid of her, I suppose, but the plot reason was that she had spent too much time in the home of the Inhumans. She wasn't fully accustomed to life in the real world, so she had to kind of go back to there because her body wasn't able to cope with all the viruses, bacteria, etc. that we all deal with every day. Something like that. Basically War of the Worlds and that whole ending. But, obviously she stuck around. She left the team, but she didn't leave the series. She didn't leave comics. She returned with the Inhumans. She has been a prominent character throughout Marvel history ever since, so she continues to appear from time to time. A Galactus story here. Always cool to see Galactus in the server. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this. Most of the issues in here I haven't actually read before, because I think I read up to the end of the Jack Kirby run, and at that point I just kind of stopped and I just thought, I'll wait. I will patiently wait until we hopefully get this stuff in an omnibus one day, and then I can enjoy it in this format. And finally that has happened. Now I can, and I'm very excited to do so. And I can only say that having waited 6 years all in all for this book to come out, I really hope that we don't have to wait anything like that again before we get a volume 5. Hoping we wait much less time before that comes along. This is cool in the back. An afterword there by Joe Sinnott. And then a photo here. Jack and Joe. And then Stan. Joe Sinnott appearing with both of them. Very cool. And then you get to the extras in the back, some original pencils. And then this is the Lost Adventure story that I mentioned that's included in the back as a bonus. So it was unfinished, but I think Joe Sinnott basically helped to finish it off. And I think this came out in around 2006, something like that. And it was finally released so many years after it had been originally created. A couple of pages stuck together there. There's a cool inclusion. It's like the comic book equivalent of a deleted scene. And then after that, you know, further extras. Unused covers, original pencils. I think that was a colouring error of issue 110. I think when it was originally released, a certain number of them went out looking like this, which was not the intention. But yeah, cool, interesting. And then some different covers, and then that excellent Arthur Adams work again. And there's a really nice bit of blurb here that just kind of praises it for how good it is, and highlights the fact that I think it was done as a commission, according to this, and then it came to the attention of Marvel, and they quickly acquired it to be able to use it, and it was very deliberately chosen as the cover for this book. So yeah, you know, as I said, very exciting stuff. A book that I'm just super happy to have. I'm sure many others are. For anybody who's on the fence about it, I hope that this has been useful in some way in allowing you to maybe make the decision one way or the other as to whether or not it's for you. I suppose that really depends on how interested you've been in the previous 3 volumes, and if you've tried them, what you've thought of them, because well, if you've enjoyed the material in 1 to 3, especially in volumes 2 and 3, I'm sure you would love this. If you haven't enjoyed those, if you've given them a chance and for whatever reason they weren't for you, then to be fair, you probably wouldn't like this either. But you know, either way, hopefully this look through the book has been insightful in whatever way it can be. And really just thanks again, guys, for watching and for going through this with me today. I appreciate that as always. And yeah, I'll come back again soon. I'll be with you with another video, something else to review. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and put this on the shelf and be amazed that I've now got these 4 volumes. So thanks again for watching, guys. I'll catch you all again soon.